Welcome back to another episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. I'm Aaron.
I'm Adam.
And today we're going to look at the hidden episode,
Yes.
Angus's Food Barn.
That is the name of the hidden video I sent you. The name of this episode is Baggin Saggin Kel.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
I'm so sorry.
To hop around, because I have all these episodes on my bootleg DVD copies from years ago.
Not bootlegged by you, purchased by you, bootlegged by some other Kenan and Kel fanatic who we hope finds this podcast.
Yeah, I hope that they can appreciate what we've put back into the world, because this episode is episode 12, Kenan and Kel, listed on Wikipedia, but not on Amazon. It's not part of the full package.
Yeah, it is not on Amazon. I don't know why. I have some suspicions why, but maybe we can get into those.
So this is in line with a couple other season 1 episodes, but those are also on Amazon, so who could say, but it was written by people that didn't go on to write a lot of other episodes.
I had that feeling.
Yeah, this one and the next one are written by people that only showed up for one. And I feel like when they had season 1 of the show together, they were just pulling people from all over. Then they had a cohesive idea of what the show will be after season 1.
Is that true? Did you notice that in season 2 there's the same people doing the writing?
Yep. For example, there's a pair of people that are on a lot of stuff. All That, Kenan and Kel, they wrote Good Burger together.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they're Keith and Heath is what my brain is telling me, but let me...
I feel like these Nickelodeon people aren't even real. Most of them are just... They just have these very funny names that never actually pan out.
Yeah, because sometimes they have a hyperlink on their name, and you can see, oh, they went on to do the Chappelle show. And other times you're like, oh no, they never did anything else.
That's funny. Yeah, I feel like this was one of those episodes where they didn't do anything else. But
this was written by Neil Brennan and Ross Venokur. And yeah, Neil didn't write any other episodes and went on to do the Chappelle's show.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And next one's also written by Eric Bowers, who, again, one of those one and dones, but...
They're trying everything in season 1.
The dream team is Kevin Coppolo and Heath Seyfertz.
Kevin and Heath.
If it's two of them, it's a winner.
All right. Well, you ready to dive into the episode?
Yeah, let's stop talking about it and let's get into it.
Human beings have a condition. I've taken to calling it present primacy, but call it whatever you like. This condition basically says that how things are now is how they've always been. We do this because it's easier to see the world that we live in the present moment than rather think about the past all the time and all the terrible things that happened in it. But the world of 2020 is radically different than the world of just 120 years ago. That 120 years is a blip in the radar on the human timescale, and that timescale is in itself a blip on the radar of Earth's history. For instance, unemployment numbers are at the highest in recorded history because of this pandemic. The keyword here is recorded history. Think about it. In 1900, nobody had a job. Not one person. People still either worked with their hands or worked on the farm. The Industrial Revolution, of course, changed all of this, but in a short amount of time, we have these things called jobs that are the basis of our entire society, and if people don't have them, everybody panics. Something else we do today that is unprecedented throughout history is going to the supermarket. For millions of years, our ancestors had to hunt and gather their own food. Even farming is a recent event on the human timescale in the last 10,000 years. Industrial farming within the last 120. This industrial farming led to a surplus of crops which needed an outlet to be sold to feed the growing population, and grocery stores were invented to fill this need. There used to be small clerks in these grocery stores that shopped for you. You didn't really have a choice of what they put in your cart. You just told them what kinds of things you needed. This was soon phased out by the self-service grocery store. Now, for the first time in history, consumers could pick what they wanted. This led to brands, which led to marketing, which led to more food than anybody could ever need ever, which led to the supermarkets we know today. The next time you go to a grocery store, think about how strange it is. Think back to how your great-great-grandparents would have reacted to such a novel and unimaginable concept. Frozen foods here, bread here, meat over there, packaged foods galore. Maybe appreciate, for a moment, the millions of years of starvation that seem so absent and distant in the abundance of supermarkets of 2020. And maybe you could think about how industrious and maybe even charming these first grocery clerks were. They would help you out whenever you needed it, as soon as you walked in the store. Think about how hard they worked, how well they knew their store, how essential their role in history was. And the next time you go to the register, maybe you could think of the world's fastest and most engaging grocery bagger there ever was, Kel Kimball. In another world, Kel's role in the grocery business would have been unheard of. But today, it's another episode in the bag.
Yeah, so that intro that I just did was inspired greatly by my Food in American History course that I took second semester senior year of college, taught by the famed Jeffrey Hyson, one of my favorite professors of all time. But food in American history. We learn a lot about grocery stores.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we spoke briefly before the episode started about how, hey, this is not the freshest plot.
No.
for an episode.
No.
But I do think the Baggin part of it is very Keenan and Kel grocery store oriented.
I like how, though this episode doesn't, leave you super satisfied, at least it didn't leave me like, oh, that was a great episode, like fulfilled. It definitely kind of built on the Rigby's scenery and the Rigby's plot and the Rigby story. So I kind of like that. I like there was some history to Chris's background, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a Chris episode, and learning more about him is great. And can, for the purpose of this podcast, the more I learn about the characters, the more I can highlight in later episodes.
The better for everybody listening.
Yes, we listen to Coolio as we always do, and hop into and watch the pair of these guys on the front center stage. It's just Keenan.
Keenan's on stage, welcoming the audience, and he's wearing what looks like a fishing shirt. It's like a gray fishing shirt. I don't know. That is what it looks like. And then he's wearing a backwards flat cap, also known as a scally cap, also known as a paddy cap. It's that Irish kind of hat with the plaid and it's unbuttoned. Our uncle wears one all the time, backwards, but not many people wear them backwards.
I'm happy you know the name of it. I would have called it something incorrectly.
I looked up the name. I called 3 different names.
Yeah, it's quite the outfit, and it's odd because just Keenan's out. He invites Kel out, and we realize that we have less work to do this week talking about their outfits.
Because Kel is wearing the exact same thing as Keenan.
I personally got a vibe that Kel was also wearing this because it had a hat component.
A backwards hat component, yeah.
Yeah, Keenan is not known for his backward hat wearing.
Yeah, a little foreshadowing there. I really think it's a great outfit for the late '90s. I think it would have been great back then. I don't know about today.
Yeah, sometimes you look at their outfits and you're like, oh, that would work today. This one is very has a very short expiration date.
I say that tongue in cheek very much. It's very much a costume outfit. Like they went back.
Yeah. I also have a theory for you that I want to run by you. So we noticed last episode that Keenan and Kel looked shockingly older.
Oh yeah.
In this one, they are back to their young selves.
Uh-huh.
So what I think has happened is that I know from Wikipedia that Kenan Kel season 1 was filmed between April and August of 1996. So I think that the Christmas episode was the last one that they filmed. It was that's why they're like the oldest that they do with the whole season. But because of the airing order, it aired in December, even though there's some more episodes that were released in January. So these were filmed before that one.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it lines up right because.
So yeah, they kind of filmed them and then shimmied them around in the actual airing.
Yeah. Plus, that one really has a final production feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
the whole cast coming out on stage and.
Yeah, that one, it was like the season finale almost, except it was aired during Christmas time.
Yes.
Okay. I like that theory. I think that I don't think we need to back it up with any further evidence because nobody's going to care.
Just look at them. Kenan's got his rosy cheeks again. It's
yeah.
So Kenan comments on Kel's outfits that what he's doing is an assault on his individuality.
Yeah, I like that line. Very very American of Kenan.
Yeah, and he tells him to change his clothes.
So Kel starts to undress, and then Kenan promptly stops him.
Yes. Not here, but that's pretty much it for the intro. The joke is they wore the same outfit.
Yeah, Kenan tells Kel to save his energy because he's going to need it for tonight's show. And then Kel is, of course, very troubled by this. He asks Kenan if he could rest for once, to which Kenan walks off stage. And then we're into the show.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the intro has nothing to do with the episode, but I think that one's on point. Kel does a lot of stuff this episode.
It's a Kel-centric episode. We love it. We love to see Kel in his slapstick glory, and we get it.
A lot of Kel and Chris this episode.
Yeah,
it's weird.
the duo that was just bonded together last episode in their ride home.
Yeah, right. They're best. They were best of buds after Christmas.
It's almost like they have a newfound a relationship, a stronger bond.
Yeah. So inside Rigby's, Kenan's playing on the arcade machine. Like I said, first time I remember seeing this thing, and it's not Flem Fighters 2 yet. It's only video games. So yeah, they start playing it, and Chris gets upset with them because Kenan's not working.
Like Chris is just being a good boss.
Yeah.
And so he hands Kenan and Kel both brooms, and he tells them to get to work.
He says, "And I think you know what to do with those."
Yes, yes. And so what they do, because, I don't know why it seems like Kel's an employee that doesn't get paid, but maybe we can explore that later. But yeah, so Kenan asks Kel to get a box of dinglings, and Kel gets a Michael Myers mask, and they pursue to play broom hockey.
I think it's just a hockey mask.
Nope.
Michael, it's either a hockey mask or a Jason Voorhees mask. Michael Myers is a different Halloween antagonist.
Sorry, I'm getting my Halloween movie villains mixed up.
Yeah, no, he's but yeah, no, they start playing hockey with this. It's some kind of like Hostess ripoff, right?
Yeah, it's like one of those packaged desserts.
They're called ring dings in real life.
Ring ding, yes.
Their play on that's a ding-a-ling.
So Kenan he winds back to take the shot on Kel, and Kel somehow is going to block it. And then as he shoots and he hits the ding-a-ling, a very large man walks through the gates of Rigby's.
Yeah. Dan Schneider as his cameo appearance as Angus.
That I had a feeling that was Dan Schneider.
Yeah, you can tell by his voice and a lot of the things that he says.
Yeah, his voice, it's definitely that voice in Drake and Josh that's just always like on the megaphone or on the
TV.
On the TV, yeah.
Yeah. He has a lot of lines that and one very like 100% like Josh of dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
A very creepy fellow, if I might add. But
oh yeah, and he in this one scene he established himself as an antagonist very quickly.
Oh yeah. He just has this allure of evil.
He immediately starts butting heads with Kenan, and I really like his exchanges with Kenan. They're very fast and witty.
Yeah, Kenan's exchanges throughout this episode are really quick. Very like he rehearsed them well. Yeah, very well scripted for Keenan.
Chris comes out and separates the two of them, and he says, "Let's settle this at the bagging contest."
The bagging contest. This is the whole episode right here. This is the concept. It builds up to this great event at the end.
I love how the episode's focused on this contest.
Yeah.
There's nothing else going on. No other side plots it's all contest.
Yeah, it's all this contest. So Angus establishes that Chris has never won in 17 years of the bagging contest. And he has pretty much come to rub it in his face and remind him that he's going to beat him again at this year's.
Yes. Later on in the episode, Chris talks about how he's been losing to Angus in this contest since they were in high school together. So I think that tells us a little bit about Chris. He began in the grocery business just like Keenan did.
He's a lifelong grocer, it appears.
Yeah, so maybe he started in high school around like the age of 15, which puts him like kind of mid to early 30s now.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that lines up. I looked up, so Chris Potter's his full name. We recently forgot his last name. Played by another Dan, ironically, who would be 37 at the time of filming.
That works.
Yeah. Honestly, I would have learned his last name, but I followed him on Twitter, and he did not follow me back yet, so... I'm holding a slight grudge.
We'll get him. Maybe Teal can help us out. So Angus, this large man, I've never met somebody named Angus, but if I did, I'd imagine they'd be like Dan Schneider.
So I think they kind of cheated in the writer's room, and they named him Angus because they can make other jokes later about his name. Most likely.
Anyways, he claps to call in his newest employee, Salim, from Baghdad.
That's a fun little joke.
Yes, from Baghdad, he is going to be entered in the bagging contest.
And he's apparently very talented, although this is the last we see of Salim.
Yes. He greets the crew by saying Akpus, which nobody knows what that means.
Oh man, yeah. It's one of those where it's like, all right, as stupid as some of the countries they've made up are, Baghdad's a real place, so...
Why did they have to not use a real Baghdadian word?
It's funny because they talk about it, and how Keenan says like Rigby's going to win this year, and Angus reveals that Keenan lost the competition for Chris last year.
Yes.
So that tells us that Keenan's been working at Rigby since he was 14 a year ago.
That makes sense.
I checked the ages in Chicago in 1996. That you're allowed to work minimum wage at the age of 14.
Okay, good to know.
So it was not under the table or anything like that.
Good, very good to know. Yeah. So I just want everybody to imagine this very large man with this kind of long hair, a very bad haircut, and this small Arab boy next to him. And this is the dream team that's going to win the Chicago bagging contest. And that's happening in just a few minutes. So, yeah, it's a pretty fun opening scene.
And to fully establish Angus as an antagonist, as he leaves, he reaches over to, I think it's a can of mustard?
Yeah, it looks yellow.
Yeah, and he knocks it over onto the ground, smashing it, and saying, "Keenan, clean this up." To which Keenan has to be held back from attacking Angus.
Chris is quick to soothe Keenan.
Onto the, not really a montage, but Keenan training for this contest.
We change scenes, and Keenan is practicing his bagging skills.
And he ain't great.
He is terrible. Really, really just mediocre bagging. Like, you'd think that... well, I mean, this is the thing. Rigby's isn't that big of a store.
No, it's not. And so
like, I don't know how many, like, he never has like a big rush where he has to like bag a bunch of groceries. It's not like you're going to a supermarket.
Yeah, sure. And I honestly, as someone that worked as a cashier for several years, I think there's more to the bagging art form than just putting everything into the bag fast. Like, I'd love to see a little more in-depth contest here where they're like, oh, you have to put the bread on top, and like you can't like put the bananas on the bottom and stuff like that. Make sure you bag like fruits together.
Maybe we can rewrite this episode and then do a filming of it.
Yeah, that's. It will not be the first time this plot's recreated. That's for sure.
No, definitely not. It's funny. Keenan's actually after this one round of bagging, Chris establishes that Keenan is actually getting worse at bagging as he's practicing. He's slowing down. So it's very funny.
Yeah.
So a woman comes up with a basket full of groceries. And, Keenan is all but defeated. He's almost crippled on the ground. He's so exhausted from bagging. So
yeah, he does not want anything to do with those groceries.
No. So Chris summons Kel to bag the groceries. And so Kel comes over, grabs the woman's groceries, and it's like Lightning McQueen. He's so fast putting the groceries in the bag. And the woman I believe the woman says, like, oh, you didn't
ring these up.
You didn't ring these up.
Which, again, isn't that also kind of part of grocery bagging?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's absolutely part of it.
Yeah. Chris replies, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. In a very poetic,
yeah,
definite way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just take them. And her reaction is amazing. Her reaction is like, haha, like very happy, like, oh, really? And then she gets like suspicious. And, like, grabs the bag and like rushes out in a hush.
Yeah, it was very awkward. Like, I wonder what her description, like in her like lines said. Like how was she actually? Well, how was she supposed to act? Like whatever.
Yeah, she went above and beyond with her reactions.
She did. Anyways, she leaves. Keenan and Chris immediately know that they have a way to win against Angus and Salim.
And they start bouncing in happiness.
And joy and excitement, yes. And then Kel, Kel wants to be happy too, so he starts bouncing, and they're all celebrating together. Kel doesn't know what they're celebrating.
Yeah, he says, why are we so excited? And then they explain, it's like, no, you're gonna win the bagging contest for us. Unfortunately, Kel reveals that competitions make him queasy.
Queasy is the word of the day, people. Queasy. I should looked up the definition.
Well, speaking of words of the day, Kel goes on to explain when he was in the spelling bee when he was younger, and how in a competition he fainted during the word hippopotamus.
Yeah, and then Keenan reminds him, like, Kel, that was in 3rd grade. Like, that doesn't apply anymore. And Kel just says emphatically, but the pain remains.
Yeah, no, that's a really good. That's also a Josh line, I want to say.
Oh yeah, oh totally.
Yeah, I also think that Kel reenacting his spelling bee disaster is very funny.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
No one can make 4 letters as funny as Kel.
That's true.
He goes H, Y, which is wrong. That's immediately incorrect. Then he just goes, pee, and faints and falls over.
Faints, yeah. Another thing that we're finding out about Kel. He faints at the remembrance of competition and past failures.
Yeah.
I'll write an essay about that one day, and then we'll just read it. I think we should. Yeah. Maybe we'll include that in our end of season.
Roundup.
Yeah, roundup. Yeah. We'll do some character analysis, character growth.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing for you to do, because I keep making games and stuff.
I got it. Yeah. You're just making sure everybody's the writers are
yeah, I'm keeping like tabs on all the money that's going back and forth.
You're the gotcha squad of this of this podcast.
Right. They start encouraging Kel to join in the competition. They say, do it for Rigby's. No. Do it for your friends. No!
And then Keenan says, who loves orange soda?
And Kel is immediately enchanted by orange soda as he is. I love, again, Kel's doing in his like top form this episode because Chris also shows him a bottle of orange soda and he's like being double teamed by them. And he's like flipping back and forth and just going. He's out of his mind for orange soda.
He is beyond excited, and he's willing to do anything to get an unlimited supply of orange soda, which I'm pretty sure he already has. Because he can have orange soda whenever he wants. But I think the, in between the lines is that, okay, he's not going to be scolded by Chris for stealing it anymore. It's just going to be gifted to him.
He won't have to sweep like Chris made him earlier this episode.
Yeah, he won't have orange soda debt. Maybe that's what we should call the Rigby's.
Oh, that's really good. Orange soda debt?
Orange soda debt, yeah. Because that's basically what it comes down to.
Yes. So, all right, we cut to the next scene where we're in the back of Rigby's, and there are bags everywhere.
Every bag in the store. So Kel, to practice his bagging skills, he has bagged every single item in Rigby's.
Yep, and it only took him how long?
51 minutes and 19 seconds.
Yeah, under an hour to do. Do you think you could do that?
I have no idea. I mean, probably.
Again, I think there's a lot of unknowns here because the front of the store is empty and the back is packed.
I don't understand. Like, I wish they showed us what that looked like. Like when they were like bringing the items to him, and why did they go to the back?
Also, could he just bag and rebag
the same
couple
items?
groceries?
Yeah, that would make sense. But that would. I don't know. I bet the stage direction people were really upset when they read this. They're like, we have to remove every item from Rigby's. Like, can't you guys just like write it in that he just uses the same?
It's all for the Angus joke that comes up. So he returns to the front of Rigby's, looks around, and says, "They must have had one mother of a sale."
Yeah, one mother of a sale.
One mother of a sale. Yeah.
Then the team, the Rigby's team. Is starting to, talk with some swagger and some confidence.
Oh yeah, they are, as Keenan puts it, extra cocky.
Yeah, Angus calls him cocky, and extra cocky is right. And they reveal their secret weapon, Kel Kimball, the bagging god.
He shows Angus a sample of his work, and this is gonna. I think for our season wrap up, we have to talk about best like Kel physical moments.
This is pretty good.
The phone call and dial O for oops is up there, but also, I got in your case with that episode. I'm sorry. Everywhere it says dial 0 for oops. It's not just you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it says that.
I have been vindicated.
I personally believe it should be O, but I'm not going to disagree with like all the sources.
Well, you shouldn't, because it's 0.
Okay, Wikipedia says O. It's both are true. There's no wrong answer there. But yeah, no, his prep before he bags is a very good moment.
Yeah, so he's I don't know if anybody out there has ever done yoga, but sometimes when you're doing a lot of yoga, you stretch your hands out, you stretch out individual fingers, you move your wrists around in circles. Kel does all of this and more in a very elaborate fashion. Before yoga was fun, before yoga was cool, and a lot of people like stretch their hands, He's he is clapping and he is so getting all warmed up.
Unfortunately, the thing I think is weird about this moment is that he like has the bag all ready to go and unfolded and stuff like that. As we see in the competition later, opening the bag is part of it.
Yeah, so, very strange thing to include in the bagging contest. But anyways,
all I'm saying is it'd be more impressive if he unfurled the bag and then bagged everything up really fast. But
because if you go to the grocery store, I shop at Trader Joe's, and I usually bag, but with the virus they don't let us bag. So the person behind the person who's bagging, who's also ringing up the groceries, has to open up the bags, and they have to double bag because they don't want anything to fall through. Yeah, because that's a Trader Joe's protocol. But so that's part of the job.
Yep. But anyway, shows an impressive display of bagging ability, and he ends it very fun with like shoving the bag into Angus, like almost hitting him with it.
Yes, yeah, he slides it across the counter into Angus's large, rotund body.
Can you use other adjectives for how big he is? I think it's your like fifth large.
Enormous.
Enormous. Rotund was fun. Yeah. So yeah, he hits
Voluptuous.
Angus right in the mass.
Right in the bulbous body.
Yeah, and he's pretty good. And they, upon seeing this, decide to up the wager. So instead of just the trophy that was displayed earlier in the episode, the winner will have to work at the loser's store for a whole day wearing a wedding dress.
I think you said that backwards, but the loser will work at the winner's store.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, wearing a wedding dress.
Uh-huh.
Which for Angus would be a quadruple XL.
Well, later he shows up with a wedding dress to say, hey, here's the punishment dress, and it's clearly Angus sized. Like that would not fit on Chris.
I don't know. It didn't look like it fit Angus very well, but
No, Angus did not have the body for that dress.
no, sorry, Dan.
Yeah, I think Dan would admit he was at his roundest in this era.
His most robust, some might say.
He has a cameo in the Kenan and Kel movie at the end of the series, and he is much. He's not much. He's leaner than he is in this one.
Is he Angus again?
I think he's a different character.
What?
Yeah,
I refuse to watch. Anyways, so the wedding dress wager has been waged.
it's greenlit.
And Angus is about to leave the store, ready for the competition. But then he says, "Hey, kid," and he calls Kel over, and he puts his arm on him, around his shoulder, and he says, like, "How would you like to come work for me for $50 an hour?"
Which is a lot of money.
Especially in 1996, bagging groceries.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of money now.
$50 an hour? Yeah, I'll make $50 an hour. It's a long time before I make $50 an hour. It's like $82 an hour.
Yeah,
which is that's immense.
It's an immense amount of money.
So I was reminded of another Kenan and Kel property when he made him a counter offer. It reminded me a lot of that scene in Good Burger. Ed is being recruited by the Mondo Burger guys.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah, so it's and it's very funny because that movie was written briefly after this. Like I said, if this was filmed in summer of '96, that movie was written in January of '97.
Oh, okay.
By Kevin Heath and Dan Schneider.
Oh, fantastic! So, they definitely played a role. I think they realized that Kel thrives behind the counter. This is his shining moment.
When he hears this pay offer, Kenan says, "Are there any other openings?"
Yeah, and it was just good. And the scene ends. Chris is like, "That you can't do that. That's not fair." And Angus says, "Everything's fair in the world of bagging."
Yep.
And Kel confirms again that all of this pressure is making him feel queasy.
And then we cut to commercial. I just realized another connection with the name Angus is that Angus is a type of beef.
Oh, he's very beefy.
And that's also we learned later that his shop is called Angus's Food Barn, and the aprons have a cow pattern on them.
Oh yeah.
So beef Angus Food Barn.
Do you think Angus is his real name or it's his grocer name? He has.
He's got a secret identity as a grocer.
He has an alias he's trying to hide from his former life. So he gained a lot of weight and now he grew his hair out.
When we finish the podcast and see his other cameo, we can speculate if it's the same man or not.
It very well could be. Chris doesn't even recognize him.
Kel's queasy. We start off with Kel is bagging groceries in the dark.
on a card table that's covered by a black tablecloth.
Yep.
Quite the symbolism.
Yeah. As he's bagging, he's all of a sudden getting pulled into the bag.
His arm gets stuck, and he gets slowly. It's like more like his elbow, and then it's his shoulder, and then it's both arms to the shoulder, and eventually he falls in.
Yeah, and that's a pretty easy like special effect to pull off. That's probably why there's a card table.
Yes.
But it looks very good, and Kel goes all in.
He literally he goes all in.
He literally goes all in, yeah.
So we have this really fun scene where
This set's amazing, I gotta say.
You're right, the set is amazing. So it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like Kel is shrunken in a grocery bag. It looks like there's an orange or a lemon.
A clementine, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. There's a can of pet chunk, some wet pet food, not dog or cat, just pet. There's a can of tuna, and then
not just any kind of tuna.
Luna tuna.
Luna tuna.
Oh, that is a can of Luna tuna if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that's a great cameo.
Yeah, great cameo. And then there's a little, looks like a bottle of ointment.
Yeah, an anti-itch cream.
Anti-itch cream.
Or medicine, I think as it's called. As well as a ding-a-ling in the corner.
Oh, yeah, there it is. It's hard to see with the bag.
Looking at this, I think that the items in here semi-relate to stuff that Kel's been going through lately. Because
that's a great theory.
I don't know about you, but sometimes my dreams reflect things that I thought about a little bit or like the day before.
Oh yeah.
Like those elements come together.
This is all the elements from the season so far.
Yeah, there's the Luna tuna.
Oh yeah.
The anti-itch cream. Back to the Hemingway episode, he talks about his rash that he's trying to get rid of.
The most cross-referenced episode in Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron history.
If that is an orange soda, of course.
Of course.
He was just playing with the ding-a-ling early in the episode. And in the Hemingway episode, he also ate dog treats. So maybe that's where the pet chunks are coming from.
That, or maybe it's made of ham. You know, because like cat like Spam is pork shoulder. So it's possible that is a pork product, and Kel loves ham.
Yeah, that could be it.
So I think that's right. Yeah, a lot of our dreams do come from things that we've been thinking about, but not very intently. That's one theory of dreams for sure.
So not only is it a fun set, but it's also relevant.
Very Kel. Yes, very Kel.
Yeah. So what do we see from Kel's perspective?
So Kel is shrunken in the bag, and he looks up at the opening of the bag, and it's Kenan's face, just like in the bag. Like they clearly just got the camera and they
have like a fisheyes lens type thing on it.
Yeah,
something to make him look really big.
Yeah, no, they definitely put a bag around the camera. That's how how great these effects are.
Like they worked with what they had, and it looks. Everything that they wanted to accomplish looks great.
I was gonna say this is the most cinemagraphically is that a word? Cinemagraphically creative scene so far, I think. And
it wasn't hard. They just had to get a bunch of butcher paper to make it look like a bag, and it was an easy thing to do, and they did it.
And they had to make these massive cans of cat food. No, that might be a green screen effect, but
No, I think those are real.
You think those are real?
I think they're real, but I think they're like recycled. Like maybe they're from like an All That skit or something
when we
that.
get Kel Mitchell on the podcast, we're gonna have to ask him.
Yeah, I'm sure he remembers the.
That'll be one of our questions.
The ointment looks like some kind of like sandbags or something like that. That's the best I could tell.
Yeah,
it's hard with the quality of the episode.
It's true. Anyways, so what are some of the things that these figures are saying to Kel in his troubled state?
He sees Kenan, he sees Chris, he sees Angus. They're calling him like a loser, kooky, and they tell him that he's a good for nothing, basically.
They're basically guilting him into Chris and Kenan are guilting him into working for them, and Angus is calling him a loser because he's not going to win, of course.
So, which I don't know, of all the things, of all the scenarios, him not winning is not one of them. It's more like, who does he win for?
Right.
Okay, maybe if it was Kel versus Salim, and the competition made him queasy, then of course Angus would be calling him a loser. So
I think if it was me, I would have made a whole entire spin-off series about the like a reality show about bagging, and it would have had all these different episodes, like Kel versus Salim.
I want to hear Salim's story.
Kel versus Mr. Rockmore.
Later on, we learned that the contest is just the two like grocers. But what if it was like a whole tournament?
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
People from all over the world.
Yeah. It was like Rubik's Cube competitions or like Tetris. Like these people just come and they're only good at one thing.
Yeah, they got like special terms and stuff like that. But no, the scene ends with them dropping more groceries on Kel, a banana, a bunch of mints, some sticks of gum. So yeah, it was they used all the props that they had.
Yeah.
And I love the transition here. Not the transition itself, but what happens on the other side of the scene. Do you remember what it is?
Kel realizes that he's in a dream. And so he wakes up and he's kicking and screaming. And
he's shouting, "Get me out of the bag."
Oh.
But he's not just in the bag in his dream, he's also in a sleeping bag when he wakes up.
Oh, wow.
So it's really clever.
That is clever. Yeah, that nice catch. So Kel is freaking out, "Get me out of the bag." And then he jumps in. He's in Keenan's room, sleeping on the floor. So he jumps in Keenan's bed with him. And then Keenan, of course, kind of freaks out and turns the light on. He asks what he's doing, and Kel says he's scared. And Keenan says, "Have you lost your mind?" It's just a good Keenan moment.
Which is odd because I think Kel's the smartest he's ever been in this episode.
It's a great Kel episode.
Yeah. Although he's not stupid in any of his scenes, is he?
No.
He's a little.
He's competent.
He's a little incompetent.
No, he is competent.
Incredibly competent.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought you meant by incompetent.
He's not incompetent. Incredibly competent.
Competent.
That's good.
Keenan's parents enter the scene because of all the ruckus Kel made. I think it's just to have them in the episode for a moment. But it's a good moment.
It's a good moment, yeah. So Mr. Rockmore is concerned. Mrs. Rockmore comes in. She has in hair curlers and a face mask. And Kel screams and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a nasty, horrible monster." she says, "Oh, you want to see a nasty, horrible monster?" She like charges at him. Yeah. Mr. Rockmore holds her back.
I'll show you a nightmare.
Yeah, I'll show you a nightmare.
I think this is the one time that Mrs. Rockmore is angrier than Mr. Rockmore.
Good analysis.
Yeah, maybe we'll go turn back to that later. Also, did you like I like Kel's pajamas?
They're like fuchsia.
Yeah, like big pink flannel.
Yeah, bright pink and bright orange. Yeah.
So in order to calm Kel down, Keenan develops a surefire plan to make them win.
Yes, a plan that we don't realize until the end of the episode. Do you want to tell the audience the plan now?
Oh no, we have to save we have to save it till the end.
All right, we will. Anyways, we're back to Rigby's. Angus, as beefy as possible, walks.
He rolls up.
Rolls up to Rigby's, and he has the wedding dress. And he is just basically provoking the Rigby's crowd.
He asks Kel if he's consider his offer. Kel starts talking, and then Keenan interrupts him and says, no, wait, no, he's made up his mind. He doesn't want any part of it. An argument breaks out between Keenan and Kel, and it's some really good acting, just in general. It's the best they've both been, I think, in the show.
Yeah, they have their first real disagreement that isn't just merely Kel being goofy and Keenan ridiculing him. It seems it's like a serious argument. And Kel says, can I ever finish a sentence in my whole life? And he's getting really mad at Keenan.
And Keenan says, "You can't handle cartoons by yourself."
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. So basically, this escalation, Chris is trying to calm everybody down because he realizes what's at stake. If Kel is angry at Keenan, then he's gonna probably go work for Angus, and he doesn't want that. But of course,
that is what happens. Yes, He says, "Say hello to your new employee."
And Angus has quite the evil laugh when Kel walks over to the dark side.
Yes, the well done side of Angus.
the well done side. It's 50% beef, 50% fat. So, Dan Schneider, if you ever listen to this episode, look, like, we don't have anything against you. It's just in this episode, you're fluffy.
Yeah, you're a lot of the episode you wear are winter jackets, and it could be all jacket for all I know.
It could be all jacket, and then just they have a face mask to make it like all the extra skin.
Yeah. All right, let's.
I'm so sorry.
all bodies are beautiful.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to the 18th annual bag off. It takes place in Rigby's, and it looks like there's a banner sign that's made out of paper bags.
It says 18 bag off.
Actually, if you look closely, there's a little TH with the 18. And there's a one in the middle that's like an angular annual.
Wow.
And bag off is hyphenated. So if anyone's correcting the wiki, it's bag dash off.
The bag off. So we have a long table set up, and it has like a blue tablecloth on it, and it says Rigby's grocery, and then it says Angus's food barn.
Yep, looks like there's a stack of paper bags and equal piles of food.
They begin by introducing their baggers.
Well, who do you mean by they? Because there's a very important character added to this episode in the 11th hour.
I am so sorry that I didn't mention him. It is the referee of the bag off, who is wearing a referee apron and a red bow tie.
Yeah, he's got a real like boxer announcer vibe to him.
And in this corner, weighing.
Yeah, that's what he does. And he introduces first Keenan, who arrives. And did you hear did you catch Angus booing him?
Oh, no, I didn't.
He does.
Angus is such a jerk.
Yeah. Chris really, he's like, oh man, I can't believe I'm going to lose with Keenan. And he's like, way to get my spirits up.
Yeah, Chris is ultimate Debbie Downer right here. And then the announcer calls in the grocer for the bagger for Angus's food barn. And then Kel enters wearing the cow apron we mentioned before, he has like a posse from Angus's food barn.
They have a boom box.
They got a boom box. Yeah, it's like really hype. He like walks in, he's high-fiving people and yeah. Oh, by the way, there's a crowd of about 20 people watching.
There is under 15 people.
Oh, yeah.
Per the fire code rules established in Dabam.
Oh my god. The worst episode. So, yeah, anyways, there's a crowd of people watching. Why? I mean, it looks like a lot of fun to me.
Yeah, it's the 18th year in the row that they've done this.
Yeah, that's all you need. You just need a little streak.
It's good capitalism, friendly competition between different grocery stores.
Exactly. This competition's been going on for longer than Keenan and Kel have been alive.
Well, let me put it this way. Would you go to this contest?
If I happened to roll up to the store like Angus did, I would walk in and I saw this, I would stay.
Yeah, I would stay because it clearly doesn't take very long. It takes like 3 minutes max.
Yeah, there's no way it even takes 3 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, definitely.
Keenan and Kel smack talk each other a little bit, which is really fun. Keenan says, "When I'm done with you, you're going to be wearing that bag on your head because you're so embarrassed."
Yeah, that was a good line.
And did you write down what Kel said?
Oh no, I didn't.
He said, "I'm going to beat you so bad. I'm going to beat you so bad." You get the point.
Yeah, he didn't have anything to say. So the referee says the rules, which is basically, you have the same amount of groceries, 3 bags of groceries full are worth. Whoever finishes first is the winner. And those are the rules.
Yep.
So And then he says, "Gentlemen, are you ready?" I don't know if he says "gentlemen," but he says, "Are you ready?" And these are some really, really good lines that they say very quickly, so it's hard to catch.
Yeah.
But Kel says, "In there like swimwear."
Yeah.
And Keenan says, "Got it going on like I didn't even I wrote it down. It's so hard to." Keenan says, "Got it going on like a pot of neck bones till the break of dawn, break of dawn, break of dawn, something like that."
Yeah, it's really fun. There's a lot of really good hidden jokes like that.
Going on like a pot of neck bones.
That's in line with his Christmas list. The referee counts them down and says, "Bag," and they're off.
Anyways, they're bagging, and Kel is doing well, and Keenan's actually doing way better than he had been before.
I noticed that this is a fun moment where, like, you know, the audience is probably involved in this. The audience is probably cheering, like, all the crowd around them.
Yeah, it probably happened live.
Yeah, the whole show was filmed live. So, yeah.
So when Kel's bagging well, and Keenan, he has to open the bag, and he's having some trouble opening the bag. It's pretty noticeable.
Yeah. Do you also notice that Kel, like, in his manic bagging, knocks over a box in the front?
He knocks over a box. I thought that was like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, oh, that's how Kel's going to actually lose, and that's how Rigby's is going to win. Like, oh, wow, that was so sly.
Almost disqualified. But no, that's not the case. Kel starts to slow down.
The way you said that.
This is a high stakes contest, Aaron. This is
Kel starts to slow down. It's like it is, and Kel faints.
Yes, falls right on top of the on the table,
just like the third grade spelling bee.
Yeah, and then Angus says the perfect Josh line, which is, "This is no time to be unconscious."
Exactly.
Right?
Keenan looks at Chris.
Chris says, "Keenan, Kel fainted. What should we do?" There's a pause.
And Keenan says, "Bag!"
Then they immediately get back to it.
Keenan bags, and he finishes first, and he is the victor.
Yes.
Yeah, woo!
So Angus has to put on the wedding dress at the everyone cheering him on to, and it fits him like a glove.
Like a glove.
Yes.
Yep. He puts it on top of his like in his front of his body. Yeah, and so this is the first time Rigby's has ever won the bag off.
They're 1-17.
1-17. You know, it's just the corner is turning.
I kind of wish that we saw this trophy like in the background of future episodes. We might.
That'd be good.
Although, so Chris tells Angus to go sweep in front of the shop first. I guess it's the first thing to do. And I thought Angus really talks up, like, you know, "Next year I'll get you." And I was really thinking that we would like see that. Like, I don't remember. He does not return in later episodes, but I'd love to have this kind of plankton like food rival.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Like to have him. Yeah,
like an evil Mondo burger.
Yeah,
to,
like
to Rigby's.
Some kind of external foe.
Also, it's a little late for this. It may be just our whole show, and I think we've already talked about it. But who's Rigby? Right?
I don't know.
Because Angus's food barn's named after him. Maybe it was Rigby's before Chris started working there, and he just kept the name because he's a respectful guy. I have no idea.
Maybe it's Chris's dog. No, he doesn't have a dog. There's no way. We would have heard about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. Hopefully,
we'll figure out who Rigby is. To be decided. And then, you know, as Angus leaves, who says it? I think it's Keenan. He says, "You make a lovely bride, fungus." Or I think that was Chris.
Yeah. Chris says that to him, and he started. Not for earlier, Keenan called him fungus, and again, I'm saying like, yes, that's a fun joke. However, that might be why he's named Angus.
Yes, that and the cow thing.
It's two pieces, and it works well together.
The crowd leaves, and then Keenan wakes Kel up.
tells him that the coast is clear, and he pops up to attention, and they start celebrating because their plan worked.
And Chris is very confused, so he inquires further, and he finds out that Keenan and Kel had a fake fight, and Kel working for Angus was just part of the plan to win the bag off for Rigby's.
I'm gonna put this this clip in because it's very good. Because Chris's reaction is maybe the best Chris moment so far.
I agree.
It's a great. It's an awesome way to end the episode. Sometimes we've got dismal endings, but this one like explodes.
Very fun. It's very fun. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says.
A very happy ending.
Very happy ending. So, like, he doesn't care. Yeah, and I agree with it.
Oh yeah.
It's not,
Angus is a jerk.
And this is a small contest between like rival stores.
It's made to seem like it's a much larger contest than it is.
And during at the end of the contest, Angus is saying like, "My guy fainted. This is not fair." And Chris points out the rules that Angus established, which are
nothing's fair in the world of bagging. Is that what it is?
I think it's everything's fair.
Everything's fair in the world of bagging.
All is fair in the world of bagging. Yeah.
Yep.
So, it's really good.
A happy moment. What was interesting, I thought, was they didn't like weave into their plan that Kel made $50 an hour.
Yeah.
I thought Keenan
Kel made some cash.
I thought Keenan was gonna be like, yeah, that was part of the plan. Now we're rich and we won.
Yeah, they're actually in the green this episode for once.
Yeah, who knows how long Kel worked for Angus.
I'm going to assume it's a day. I'm going to look up the hours. I'll get back to you in the season finale.
I would imagine it was only for a couple hours, like 3 hours or something.
It's a lot of cash.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, at least a day. But yeah, that's, I also want to say it's worth mentioning that, Keenan has a fun line. Once Kel pops up, he says, "That's a good little acting job. Are you an actor?"
Yeah, that was good.
Because I do want to, like I said earlier, their acting in that scene is like better than their usual acting in the show.
Mm-hmm. It is good.
They come out back on stage, and this isn't too great of an end tag.
Yeah. So Keenan's wearing a blue camo fishing jacket again. It's like from the same distributor as the other one. It's just a different color.
Yeah, Kel's wearing like his blue velvet outfits.
Yeah, his bowling shirt, felt bowling shirt. And then Keenan sees a pretty lady in the audience, and he goes and sits next to her. He asked if she's glad that she came, which she said yes. And then he asked her what's her favorite part. She said the hockey part. Kel reminds her that, he was in that scene too.
Then Keenan invites her out for a beverage, perhaps some hot cocoa.
Because he is 15?
Yes. They walk off stage and Kel shouts, "Keenan, I like cocoa."
Yeah. And Keenan says, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you about next week's episode." Kel says, "Like they don't even tell me about next week's episode." Keenan.
Yeah, and here it goes. That's the
wow.
I have one theory to end this episode with, and
okay.
I think it makes that last scene a little better because on paper it's kind of creepy and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I really want to think that that girl was a pull from the audience.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I think for that scene they're like, hey, we need like a young lady about Keenan's age that wants to help out with this scene.
Yeah,
and like a magician act almost, because she was laughing a whole lot. She was laughing more than any actor would.
I have a feeling what happened was there was a lot of setting up for this episode, especially with like the moving all the groceries and stuff. So the audience was probably like waiting there a while, so they wanted to get them more engaged. So what they probably did was include some of the audience members and whatever. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I thought in that lens, that looks like it's a fun moment.
Yeah. That's the episode.
I'm not sure if all our usual games apply. For example, whose fault, Keenan or Kel?
Well, I was going to say, because I forgot this episode, so I was going to say it was Keenan's fault because he was rude to Kel and then Kel left. But Keenan actually, that was part of the plan the whole time. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's anybody's fault.
Yeah, this was a successful plan.
Yeah, it worked. They got money. They ripped off the villain. They won. They beat him fair and square.
This is the first time in 12 episodes where they actually succeeded
Net
at what they went to
positive.
accomplish.
Yeah, it's a win.
Yeah, absolute win. No one shouts why. Cal doesn't drink any orange soda on screen.
Well, we have the orange soda moment where he gets very, very excited.
Yes,
That's the whole
which is true.
incentive behind the episode.
Yep, and he gets as much as he can drink. So, I wonder if that rule still applies, or because he worked for. I don't think it does, because he worked for Angus, and Chris was not in on the bit.
But I think Chris was so elated that he's gonna give Kel some orange soda.
Yeah, I think he's gonna forgive some of that orange soda debt.
I mean, he won
He did
for the first time in 18 years.
Yeah, and it's a very celebratory, wonderful moment. We learn a little bit more about Chris. He's been working at grocery stores. He's working for grocery for 18 years. And competition makes Kel faint.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
well, they destroyed a box of dinglings. Those are all my follow-up notes.
That's it. Well, Adam, how many bottles of orange soda would you give this episode?
First, I would like to talk about the IMDb rating.
Okay, let's hear it.
This episode is given a 7.3 on IMDb.
Yeah, hi.
Ranked 42 out of like 62.
That's a lot of really high ratings for this show.
Yeah. 42 is very low.
Yeah.
That's like low medium in the second half of them. Which I thought this episode was better than that.
I think I'm gonna go ahead because I want to explain.
Yeah, please.
I want to give it 6 bottles of orange soda because there were parts of the episode where I was like, oh, that's clever, but I didn't get any big laughs, and I didn't get any. There wasn't any. This is 2 episodes in a row where we kind of deviated from the Keenan and Kel script. So
Yeah.
I kind of started to feel a little bit lost during the episode. I'm like, all right, we're seeing their little gags and the things that they do to set them apart as characters, but I'm missing that Keenan and Kel feel. It felt
absolutely.
Yeah, so I would give it a 6. I was even thinking about like a 5 or 5.5, but I think 6 because it's a win and it's a good episode, good characters and good development of Rigby's. So yeah.
So yeah, I think this episode definitely it's a good episode. It's a standard episode of a sitcom. I've seen it before. That's a big problem with me. I remember this exact episode happened in like Cheers, 30 years before this was.
Right. Classic. It's a classic plot.
I've seen it before. I've seen it in all kinds of ways and done better. Remember that one SpongeBob, the Fry Cook games? It's kind of the same,
Yep.
Keenan versus Kel, and maybe not really good laughs, but it was generally entertaining. And I love the bag scene. The bag scene's special, if you ask me.
Yeah, that scene was really good. That was a saving grace. So.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Bottles of orange
A
soda.
safe rating.
Yeah, I think I feel strongly about that. And so speaking of safe ratings, do you know what the next hidden episode is going to be for next week?
I do not. No.
It's called episode 13, Safe and Sorry.
Safe and Sorry.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm interested because it's not on Amazon. Oh, do you have any theory about why this episode wasn't on Amazon?
I couldn't tell you.
I have 2 theories. One, I think Dan Schneider's been under some flack recently from some legal issues.
Which excuses are all of our fat jokes.
That's right. You can make fun of predators, right? I don't know if anything is. I don't know how Dan Schneider is doing right now, but
he's been under fire about that stuff, and I do not want to. I want to celebrate this work that he did in the past, but him as a person is icky, and the less of him we see, the better.
It seems like nothing. I don't know. I don't know how the legal case has gone or anything like that, but I just heard some negative things, so I'm sure he is not as chipper as a guy as he seems in this. Well, he actually is horrible in this episode. He's a horrible man.
This might be a good reflection.
Maybe it is. Yes. So, anyways, there's that reason, but then there's also the Salim part where he comes on and he says like akpus, and trying to riff off of the language of the country of Baghdad, which I guess is Arabic. Just didn't seem very like culturally sensitive. So
Sure.
I don't. Maybe that's a reason.
Perhaps Amazon only had like a certain, like they can only release 11 episode seasons, and some stuff was on the chopping block.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah, I could see why this one would be in like the lower half of the season.
Yeah, it doesn't quite gel
trimmed.
with the other episodes.
That said, it's why like Da Bomb is on there. I'm like, whoa. Versus, I thought this was better than Da Bomb.
The bomb is fun. It's a fun episode.
It's a fun time, and it's a very 90s. So
yeah.
But let's wrap this up. We've gone on long enough.
Yeah, plenty long enough.
Join us next week when we get into Safe and Sorry, the next episode.
See ya, Fantas. Oh, here it goes. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Keenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. If you want to stay in touch, send us an email at keenankelpodcast@gmail.com, or you can send us a voice message at anchor.fm/KeenanKelPodcast. Our social media accounts are all at Keenan Kel Podcast. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thanks, everybody.
Wow!